Hi there. Okay, let's see what we got with the first card here. We have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is a really nice card. It actually depicts a wedding in a lot of the decks. Um, it's a card of celebration. Um, you've really reached a certain milestone with this card. It doesn't mean it isn't the culmination of everything you've been working towards, but it's a nice milestone. If you do use the family theme, although wands tend to kind of point more towards work, but you can think of it as, getting married is a big event, but then comes children and their all their different events and grandchildren and things like that. So it's a big deal, but it's just one plateau on the way. So it's a really nice card, a good omen. Um, it's a time of a slight reassessment. Okay, here we are. It's a little bit of a new beginning in a way because you have worked to get to this point. It's time to sort of reassess things, feel good about where you are, but look forward to the next part. So let's pick the next card and see where we're headed. So the Hermit. And again, as I said before, I don't use reversals. It's personal choice. It's just not something I tend to use. So the Hermit is all about finding your truth. You can think of the number 5 card is the Hierophant, and would be a religious leader, and things like that. But this is your truth. Who you are inside, who you really, what makes sense to you. So this is about your inner truth, how you decide you're going to view the world. For example, I was brought up Catholic, but that religion didn't appeal to me at all, and the more solitary reflection that comes with the tarot cards just makes a lot more sense for me in my life. And so that's where I tend to be. It doesn't have to be about religion at all, just your morals, what is important to you, what are you about, and retreating and taking some time out to really think about that. And it's kind of interesting, it does fall after the Four of Wands, because I just said it is a bit of a plateau to celebrate and then do a little bit of reassessing before you move on. So the Hermit really says, you've attained this level of success. That's wonderful. That's great. Now, as you move on, let's really consider deep down what is important to you, what your priorities are. Do you make sure what you're doing next really makes sense and fulfills you spiritually. Use your inner guide to guide you for this next part moving forward. So let's take a peek here at the third card. Oh, and the Eight of Cups. So I actually really like this card. It can be a little bit of perhaps a sad card. Cups are emotions, so it can point towards relationships. But, we are emotional about a lot of things, about work, about our hobbies, about politics. I mean, people are passionate about all sorts of things, religion. And so it really can branch out way beyond just a romantic relationship. So in the Five of Cups, it tends to point to a situation where maybe someone else breaks off a relationship with you, or you're pining after someone that doesn't share the same feelings towards you. But the Eight of Cups is where you walk away. You get to a point where you know your own truth, the truth of the Hermit. You know deep down that this isn't working. It's time to walk away. And it's actually kind of interesting. I just looked. I said originally the Four of Wands does tend to, and it's spears in this deck, I apologize, points to a marriage. And then after a lot of soul searching of the Hermit, decision to leave a marriage. So that's, on a very, since I did bring up the wedding, um, it can be that someone's making, it's a choice to leave something. That could very well be leave a place of employment, leave a friendship. It doesn't have to be something as serious as a marriage. Um, uh, Something you've decided that it's time to walk away from, and it can be really sad in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean you're not happy necessarily. You can be. You're not necessarily happy about this decision, yet it brings with it a slight bit of excitement. You can sort of thinking it as closing a door. You close that door, but then you turn around and you're ready to move on. So there's a bit of excitement. It's a bittersweet card, I guess is a way to put it. Um, so you've trying to put this all together. Like I said, it's reading the tarot is like a puzzle. There's some happy things going on here. Uh, you've accomplished some things you really want to accomplish, and it is worth a celebration. But for some reason, it's causing you to do some soul searching, which may, in the end, you may decide to walk away from it. And even though you may have invested a lot of emotional energy, a lot of your time into something, and even been successful, you're realizing perhaps it doesn't quite feed your soul. It isn't working on some level, and you would be not living your truth to continue on the path that you're in, um, and decide to move in another direction. So the Eight of Cups at the end here is, again, it's if you're not a person that enjoys change, is comfortable with change, it can be tough, but try to focus on what is coming up, the possibilities. Allow yourself to get a little excited about starting a new chapter in your life and having it more in line with your values and what you want out of your life. I think a lot of times we live our lives and we put these rules and these boundaries that we don't even know where they came from. And maybe this week, consider the possibilities that you don't have to stay employed where you are. You don't have to stay in a relationship where you're in. You don't have to continue on if it's really not working for you. Life is very short, and consider the possibilities. Consider the exciting side of the Eight of Cups, and dream a little, and set off in your new direction.